Joining the show tonight from Texas to Colorado and Georgia, amongst other places, this man has coached a lot of high-level ball. His squad is playing lights out right now. The head coach of Valdosta State, it's Tremaine Jackson. What's going on, Coach?
Really glad to be here, man. Just excited about getting a chance to chop it up with you a little bit.
Hell yeah, man. Excited to get you on here. Your team is rolling right now, like I talked about it. 5-0, man. And before, you give me obviously, we'll talk about some of the marquee games coming up for y'all. 5-0 right now, a really strong start. It's, not to discredit any of those earlier games and those quality wins for you guys. At some point, that's just got to feel good, man.
Yeah, I sat back last year and looked at some notes from last year. We were 3-2, and trying to figure it out. We lost a really tough game to Virginia Union. Had lost to Delta State, and we're just trying to find our identity. I was new. You got the pressure of being at a place like Valdosta State. And so we were kind of in the wilderness a little bit last year. And, man, really proud of our staff, proud of this team for starting the right way. We wanted to win September because we know in the Gulf South Conference, if you don't win September, October sometimes might not even matter, right? So we won September, and now we look forward to a really aggressive conference field October.
Hell yeah. I hear you, Coach. You're spot on, too. And you talked a little bit about the pressure. You weren't inheriting, a 500 team or a team that was at the bottom of this conference. The team was in a national championship before you took the helm, and you've had a lot of success at places that you've coached. So that's nothing new to you. The success, I think a lot of people know that will come with this program. But with that being said, those are some pretty, big shoes to fill or pretty high expectations to meet. Talk about that coming in, especially in year one where coming off that run, you do start 3-2. And for a lot of outsiders, there may have been that doubt.
Yeah, for me, I didn't look at it as I was taking over a national championship runner-up team. I looked at it as, man, I got a chance to go and coach and recruit guys at a high level, which coaching for me is a ministry. And so I wanted to be able to pour into guys, and people listen to people who win, right? So we can win and pour into guys, then they can take what we're giving them back to their communities. Man, we can sometimes we might be able to change the world, right?
Hell yeah.
And so that's how I looked at it. And we nobody loves football more than me. I'm from Texas. We think we invented football. So I knew exactly where I was coming to. Everybody talks about, oh, you in South Georgia. Man, there's a lot of good football around here. Man, I'm from inner city Houston, Texas. It don't get no bigger than Texas to me. And so I understood the challenges. I understood the expectations, and that's why I wanted to come. And, like anything, when you don't start the way people think you should start, you start really looking at a lot of different things. Ultimately, looking back at it, and then when we were going through it, we just weren't ready to compete at a high level. We didn't have the personnel, nor did we have the time to get the personnel. Sounds like excuses to most people, but I lived it. And so we just decided to fight our way through it and really build program at a place where people thought program was already built, and it had been. But every year in today's game, you have to rebuild program. And so we know that, we understood, and we just went to work on that.
Yeah. Coaching is a ministry. That's good stuff. I like that a lot. That's powerful. Let's talk about, the stuff that you're preaching to these guys: discipline, obedience, grit. That's what it takes to be a dog over there, huh, Coach?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're Blazers, man. Make no mistake about it. But our mentality is dogmatic. And I wanted guys that were embodied what I thought it took to make it in today's world. Man, if you're not disciplined, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, you're not going to make it. If you're not obedient and you can't submit and comply with the authority for the greater good of the team or the organization, you're not going to make it. Nobody's going to want to be around you. And then if you don't have passion and perseverance for long-term and meaningful goals, which we know is defined as grit, then you'll never finish. And so I wanted guys that embodied those three things. And we went to work on that. And that started right when I became a head coach. We'll always have that mentality. Ultimately, I don't want to be around soft guys, man. I want to be around dogmatic guys and dogmatic people and guys that can fight themselves out of situations.
Yeah, man.
And that's what I think we've built here.
Hell yeah. And it's not on the field either. I mean, I shouldn't say just the field, because you guys get it done in the classroom. Highest team GPA in program history this last year. That has to be a sticking point for you to come in and to make that kind of impact. Like you said, changing the world. That's That's one way to do it, man. It's got to feel pretty special as well.
No, that was a really big deal for us, and we still didn't meet the team GPA that we want to meet. We want to have a team GPA of a 3.0 or higher. Good. We came in with a 2.81, and we were disappointed. And our AD was like, "Hey, man, I'll take it." And you know, we were happy that we moved the needle because we were dead last in academics when I got here.
Okay.
And so we certainly, I always feel like this: if you're not getting it done in the classroom, there ain't no way you're going to consistently be successful on the field. You might win for a little bit, but there's no way you're going to consistently win because you're not consistently winning in other places.
Yeah.
And so, you don't just win football games and don't win the day. Like it's, it starts with that conversation between you and you when you're brushing your teeth in the morning, right? Like we talk about that. And so we were really proud of that. Community service-wise, I think we knocked it out the park. And so we felt like we could get those things together, then some of the success that we're starting to have football-wise will fall into place.
Yeah, you can't pick and choose when to be a winner, right? That's something you gotta live by, and I like what you're preaching. Like obviously, been following along with you and your program as well, and the sound bites. You get some incredible sound bites, man.
Oh man!
And the thing is, you could go from like the way you talk to it is great because you could go from some like you talk about the coaching as ministry and some of this real heartfelt like great message. And then you flip it around and you're cutting a promo and like, here we go, get somebody fired up, give me a run through. And that switch is just like that. Just to me, I think that's been great to follow. But let's talk about your squad a little bit, right? Heading into this so far, 5-0, obviously some tough battles. Come to mind, Albany State, a really top tier NAIA team in Kaiser that I don't think a lot of people talk about. That is a really high quality football squad. What's surprised you, maybe, if anything, about this group?
Man, this group is resilient. And I mean, we've been through a lot from fall camp from spring ball. I'll date it back to January. Man, if you were here in January with us, you've been through a lot. We put them through a lot. And then to add the new guys to fall camp, we tried to make fall camp as tough as it's ever been because we needed to find out who could and who couldn't. And we needed to find out when it was time to fight, who would fight. Not just on the field. I'm talking about everywhere. And so these guys have been through it. I think they responded the right way. And most of all, man, we found out we've got good people. Guys aren't fighting for bus seats and things of that nature. Like we get on the bus. I remember one trip we were going, the guys were fighting to not sit with somebody.
Oh, hey, I've been there. I've been there too many times on these. Yeah. You get these road trips from northern downstate, man. Every trip is 7-8 hours. You got guys not wanting to share a seat. Like what?
You go, man, we're a team, right? So we fought a lot of that. And we wanted to make sure that it wasn't about the individual, but it was about the team.
Yeah.
And I really got a lot of respect for this team, a lot of love for this team. I love each and every guy on our football roster because they mean so much to me. They believed in what we were selling. They bought into it in a time, man, where, people ain't buying into much outside of themselves. And so I'm really excited about it. About the group, and that's what surprised me. That nothing. We find ourselves in a fight. Sometimes it's a self-inflicted fight. We find ourselves in a fight, but they fight, and they don't start pointing fingers. They just fight, and I think we'll always have a chance as long as guys keep that mentality.
Hell yeah, coach. And you talk about the difference between last year and this year, 3-2 versus 5-0. How do you treat that now moving forward? You obviously have the momentum. We can talk in a second here about your upcoming matchup, which is going to be a big one. I'm excited to tune in. But what changes from a coaching perspective? Being detached as far as, their guys are obviously, rightfully so, their confidence is very high right now. They've won some quality matches, even though they do know on the horizon there's some big ones coming. What changes from that 3-2 squad a year ago to now where it feels like you started to really put some things together?
Yeah, I think when I got here a year ago, I bought into the fandom, right?
Okay.
Like this is Valdosta State. We're going to always roll the ball out there. And we've been so successful in the past until we got no choice but to be successful in the future. And that was the biggest mistake I could have made as a head football coach. And, man, I own that like none other. That was my fault. Football is so different today than it was 2 years ago, let alone 04, 07, 12, or 18, right? Yeah. And people always try to compare our teams to other championship teams. Man, it'll never be like that again. And so I bought into that and saying, okay, we got it. And I probably looked too far ahead. This year, our team is trained on living in the moment, not chasing the result. Man, I had an opportunity to go intern with the Steelers this summer.
Oh, yeah.
And I learned so much from Coach Tomlin, man, about just not chasing an outcome and making sure you meet the standard of what your standards are. And so we don't chase outcomes anymore. We don't chase scoreboards. We've had 2 games where there was no scoreboard for us to look at. One because of a hurricane, and then the one last week we didn't even have a score.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. And so we couldn't chase an outcome.
Yeah.
Because every time we scored, I had to ask the referee what the score was. So I just quit asking. And so we've been trained that way to just win every moment. And then if we win every moment and we execute at a high level in that moment, man, we'll know what the score is at the end because we will have done it the right way. And so that's what's different. We try to do things the right way and just win the moment.
Yeah, that's big time, man. And it's easy to say that too, right? But it's another thing to live it. And I'm sure, that nod tells me all I need to know. Like, you know that. It's definitely tough. I wanted to ask, you mentioned it, the Steelers this summer, the Bill Walsh Minority Fellowship, man. Talk about what goes into that, and especially, like, you threw it out there, Tomlin. Like, if I'm making I don't know what you call it, like a top tier list here, like, he's S tier coach, that's the dude. I would love to just be, a fly on the wall for a couple of those meetings, man, to see the way that he operates day to day. And the thing is, I feel like I already have a great read on what that is because he's just a model of consistency, one that you can't find not only anywhere in sports really, but just in life, in the world in general. People, it's very hard to be that consistently good at what you do. So enough of me talking about it. I want to hear kind of your thoughts, takeaways from that, and kind of how special that experience was, man.
And I think this was my 3rd internship. So 09, I did it with the Texans. 16, I did it with the Chargers. And then this year, and man, this was the most impactful because I got an opportunity to shadow a guy that does exactly what I do. I'm the head coach here. I got a chance to shadow the head coach. Most of the times, you get to work with the position coaches, and they put you to work, man. Like, you're working. Man, I got a chance to just sit back and watch how this dude runs the organization, a very, very storied organization. When you walk in, there's Super Bowl trophies everywhere. It can kind of be scary if you're a fan of the game. You go, man, I'm on hollow ground right now. And, this the steel curtain defense, right? So, but the way he handles players, the way he handles coaches, the way he goes about the business of the day, and just the way he talks to grown men, man, like he's on some real positive, making sure that guys understand the standard, but you don't have to demean guys to get the best out of them. And I really appreciated that because people always talk about it's the NFL. What are you going to tell those guys? Man, that dude gets his message across, and people respect him in that building. And I think that's why he's been able to never have a losing season, just by the way that he goes about his business. And so some of the things that I got from there, we use here on the daily, man. Just living, the standard is the standard. We say that here. Reasonable expectations. There's a clip going around. I was in the room when he talked about reasonable expectations. Man, I was really excited about that. We do that every Tuesday. We talk about what's reasonable for us to believe as a program. And so it was impactful. I'm so grateful to have been able to be that fly on the wall and get a little Steeler gear too and really feel
come on now.
And just be there for the week and a half I was there, man. I was excited about it and learned a lot.
Yeah. Putting yourself in different environments and seeing, like you talked about, obviously the difference between like that college level and the pros and the type of dudes that you're dealing with, it translates across more than, again, it transcends sports and things, how you interact with people, who you may be in charge of, right? Like managing people and those type of things. You do a lot of that, a lot of putting out fires when you are the head of a program. But I would definitely want to ask about that. But the last thing for you, Coach, talking about some of these top dogs coming up, we'll focus on the one that's this weekend. Delta State, I'm assuming it's not going to take much to get these guys fired up to defend their home field and really in what is a huge statement game opportunity for the Blazers, man.
Man, it's a grand opportunity for us to host a premier football team. Man, I think Coach Cooley and what he's got going, man, with that his staff and what they do week in and week out and what they've been doing even through last year, man, is nothing short of amazing. it's a tall tree for us to climb when the number 8 team in the country is coming in here. But it's Valdosta, Georgia. I like our guys and the way that the look in their eyes right now. We don't know what that's going to equate to, but I know when you don't have that look, I know what that equates to.
Yeah.
And so I think, we're going to have to prepare the right way. We're going to have a really good week. But this is what Gulf South Conference football is about. I'm a little biased. I've been in a lot of Division II leagues. I think the Gulf South is top to bottom. There's no homecomings. Man, I can't look on the schedule and go, I can't wait till we get to so-and-so's team. I could do that in some other leagues. But this league, man, this is why you came here. We tell our kids, this is why I came here. I came here because I wanted to coach at the highest level of this division that I could. And this is why we recruited you here. So it's going to be a really good football game. On top of that, man, in Valdosta, Georgia, in Titletown right now, it's Wintersville week where the 2 high schools in town play each other, one of the oldest rivalries in high school football. So hopefully it's just a great week of football. But, man, we're excited. We're excited to put our brand of ball out there. The Blazers had a year off. Blazers want to come back the right way.
Yeah.
And hopefully our kids, they worked hard enough. Hopefully they continue to do that, and we get a chance to show our brand.
Tall tree to climb. I like that. I don't think I heard that one before.
Maybe
that's on me. I like that a lot, though, Coach. And you the way you speak from that, too, you obviously speak from experience, being in the RMAC or being in the NSIC. Like, some squads right now, you can definitely make a case for the NSIC to have some really tough schedule. You know what I mean? As far as top to bottom. Yeah. And, hearing that from you makes a lot of sense. So I hear you, Coach. I just want to say thank you again for your time. It's been a blast.
Anytime.
You got a couple of guys going to be tuned in here up on Park Street to Marquette to that game on Saturday, man. I got the Flow Sports login for the GLIAC. I may as well use it to watch the Blazers, man.
Might as well, man. Listen, man, I really appreciate what you do. Anytime people can showcase Division II football with the hard work that these players put in, man, we really appreciate it. I know our kids and our program really appreciate it. So I'll keep following you guys on Twitter. Hopefully we can talk again soon after an even better ending to a season.
Hell yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you, man. Have a good rest of your night.
Appreciate you, brother.
See you.